Okay, we're going to do some 3D modeling and just to show how we could possibly make a Carlo Molino table. So just to give you an idea what a Carlo Molino table looks like. Here's one. It's a continuous piece of plywood that's molded and then it's got these cutouts in it. Kind of cool looking. You've got the table. Very nice. Quite cool. Okay. So if we think about it, that piece of plywood is like a spline curve. So we're going to make a spline curve and then we're going to give that spline curve the thickness by offsetting it, and then we're going to close the ends, so we're going to have this continuous spline curve. Then we're going to extrude that spline curve out and cut holes in it. So that's going to be the approach. Okay, so the first thing I did was, now normally I would draw everything on the UCS, but just because I want this spline curve always to appear vertical, I'm actually just going to draw it vertically. So to do that, I'm going to draw my box. Okay, zoom in, and then I'll go UCS and select this corner of my box, select my axis, x-axis, and then select my y-axis, and now I'm drawing on my box. And then I can do SPL and go right, and that's my spline curve. Now, if I extrude this at this point, I'm just going to get a surface. So extrude. I'm just going to get a surface, and this has no thickness whatsoever. Okay, so generally that's much harder to model because I have to offset this surface and then put an edge on the end of it. And it's usually very difficult to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm in this UCS. I'm just going to delete this this line here. Okay, so I'm in this plane, and so I'm going to offset this object. Oh, offset. Going to offset it 10. Okay, so that's offset 10. Now, big problem here then is that these aren't joined at the end, so I do PL for polyline, and then I make sure that I'm using my endpoint to connect that. Then I do the same for the other side. Right. Now, at the moment, I've got 4 polylines. I have this one, I have this one here, this one here. And to do a proper extrusion, I need those to be closed. So I'm going to join, and then I'm just going to select that, and then just pan across here, and I'm going to select that little bit at the end. Right, and now I'm going to make sure that everything is connected. You can see that's connected, and really make sure that it's connected at either ends. Right, now I'm going to extrude. Okay, now I can see that this has a thickness. That's nicely done. It has a thickness either side. Okay, so now the next thing is that we have to give it make it that we can cut into these shapes. So I'll just make sure I'm going back to UCS World, and I'm going to do another spline, SPL for spline, and it's going to draw a spline curve here. I'm going to turn my OSNAP off because I don't want to be clicking on any points that might be in the in this shape here. I can extrude it, so I'm going to extrude it. Now, just remember that when I'm extruding this, I'm actually just extruding a surface. And if we look at this here now, we'll just go into a world coordinate system here, top. We look from one side. And we can see here that it doesn't intersect the whole thing. And that's just because of the way I drew this spline. Part of it dips below the world coordinate Z. So I'm going to move this down, this surface down in my Z plane. Continue. And I can see that I'm moving it in the Z plane because of the minus Z there. I'm just going to move that down. Yeah, I could have probably drawn this a bit neater, but okay. We can see where these two intersect. So now the next thing is that I'm going to take this surface and use it to split this this extrusion. Now this is a solid object and this is just a surface. Okay, so this is the command here. It's press pull slice. Okay, slice here. So now with slice, it's important I select my solid object. I'll right click once I've selected it, and then I can start my slicing point. You know, I could draw a line and another line, draw a point and another point, and then it would raise a plane from those. Or I can select surface. So I'm going to go S for surface, and I'm going to select this as a surface. Now, it offers you the opportunity to select one part or another. I generally just keep both, and then when that's done, I just delete the part I don't want. So I select that, delete. Now I'm going to select this so I can just see that original part, and that's what I'm left with. Okay, so that's pretty cool already. I'm pretty happy with that now. Now, I've managed to delete a little bit too much here. So maybe I'll just go in here, zoom in, and we're just going to press pull this extrusion edge outwards. Now, I extruded that out. I found it easier when I put my UCS just on the corner there. And so I've just made this a bit wider so we can punch a hole through it, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and use my little box here to change my UCS. So UCS, this corner, and this corner. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just look at that end view, right? And we're going to draw a circle. Okay, so circle. So we've got our circle up there and we're going to extrude that out. Extrude, okay. Select that and then drag it out. And now we can see where we've got this wave-like shape and our tube here. And obviously, you know, you could create a polyline that was an unusual shape, extrude that out, and I'm just picking a circle because it's easier. And because we've made this as a solid, it means that we can take this and subtract this tube from this. So that's what we're going to do. Subtract. So we select our object that we want to subtract it from. select, we right click, and then we select this object here, and done. Okay, and we've got a hole going through. Okay, if we wanted the hole to go through this object at an angle, what we would do is we would change our UCS so that when we made our extrusion, it would come at an angle. Okay, so we can show how to do that here. So what I've done here is I've aligned my UCS so it's on this box, and then I can use rotate to rotate that circle. I'm just going to rotate it within the from the center point, and just turn OSNAP off and ortho off. Okay, so that's been rotated. Okay, and now extrude again. Extrude. Select this and drag it through. Okay, and now once again, maybe we'll try to rotate that again, just so it's passing through more of the object. There we go. And now we can subtract. Select this object, right click, and select this object, and voila, cut through.